What is up, y'all? We're here for our midweek alchemy message. We are using the Wild Unknown alchemy cards along with the Mystical Moments Tarot. So from the Wild Unknown alchemy, we've got Mercury, followed by Breath, followed by Raven's Head, and then under Mercury we have Knight of Pentacles. Underneath Breath we have Ace of Swords. And underneath Raven's Head, we have the Devil. Like, these cards really go together. They're aesthetic. Awesome. I am going to let you guys listen to the audio. It's about 1.5 minutes, and then we will get more into the cards. The work we are doing right now must not be rushed. We must be prompt, but we should take our time. It is time to get to work, but once you're there, settle in, breathe. Don't be in a hurry. Don't rush the work. The beauty is in the process. There's lightning in this moment, and we must catch this wave of opportunity and seize this inspiration, but this is going to be an ongoing devotion. Step carefully and intentionally, mindful to avoid foolhardy mistakes. There are beautiful ideas developing that are ready to be shared. One chapter has ended, and we're at the beginning of a new season. But be careful not to relish in the relief too long. The wheel of destiny has already begun to turn. Heads up, new level, new devil. Expect there to be challenges. Do not be disheartened by them. So as far as like the Zohar commentary on the Torah portion for the week, we are getting into the understanding that there is an internal nature in life and an external nature in life. And our outer circumstances they represent the external nature. But the root of the external nature is really something internal. So we're learning how to look under the deeper, look deeper into life, look into the subtext, look into what's underneath what's happening. What is the spiritual essence? What's the soul of the situation or the circumstances? And how we approach the way we interpret the Bible and the Torah as well, and all those writings. There's an external element to that, and then there's an internal element. Any given opportunity that comes my way, and it's great, there is an external nature of that element, and there's an inner essence to that element of experience. Same with challenges, right? There's an external, turn of events that happens, a chain of events that occurs, but there's an inner quality to that. There's an energy underneath what's happening. And when we try to delve under the outer circumstances and really try to understand the energetic nature, the spiritual nature of what's playing out and why it's relevant in our life, what it's there to do for us, why is it showing up at our feet and not someone else's, right? When we start to look at those things, that actually elevates us. It elevates our soul. It reveals more light of our soul, and it brings us closer to the Creator. So in our mundane sort of waking outer experience, I think that we are approaching the work in a certain way, and it's bringing up internal, we have an external way that we're approaching the work and our dreams and our goals and our desires right now. But there is an inner essence or a vibrational nature or a spiritual nature as to why things are going in the direction that they're going, why they might be seemingly like halted or slowed down or blocked, any kind of variable around the circumstances. There's kind of a reason for that. So we're looking deeper. And so I feel like in this moment, we have something that we feel that our soul is urging us to do, a direction that we're being called to go in. And there is a feeling of urgency around that. Like it feels like, oh, I need to get to work. I need to get to work. But once we get there, it's like we need to be grounded and level-headed and take a breath and take slow and easy, steady steps. Be mindful of what we're doing. It's like we need to be prompt about getting started on something, and we don't need to procrastinate any longer. We don't need to continuously feel like, oh, I'm not ready yet, or I need another accreditation or whatever. It's like it's time to get to work, but then we don't want to rush the process. We don't want to be sloppy or haphazard or foolhardy. We want to take grounded, conscious, intentional steps, well thought out, well planned, but not, don't drag your feet. Don't be overly perfectionistic. Find a really nice Goldilocks zone there, because there's like a lot of action right now around Mercury and the energy of Mercury, particularly with Uranus moving into Mercury out of Taurus. I feel like this has stirred up a lot of inspiration and a lot of intellectual excitement. I think that we might have like a new perception and a new outlook and a new way of seeing things, which might be giving birth to a lot of new inspiration and new ideas. We might have had a breakthrough or a revelation or a shift in some part of us that is allowing us to communicate in a more effective way, at a more effective level that's more influential and powerful. Maybe we're able to communicate our ideas in a more clear way. Either way, there's something that we are using, like the ideas of Mercury. Like Mercury is fast moving, it's information. It's even associated with the medical catechus, like the healing aspect. So there's something that we're healing, and on the other side of our healing, I feel like the healing is causing a momentum to speed up. And I think that there is a temptation to like fly ahead and go really fast and follow all the excitement and get really excited and rush in. But, even when you're really excited, rushing in, you can stumble, you can, fumble, you can knock something over, you can break something. So it's like, it's important that we're mindful about what we're doing, but we still capture this inspiration. It's sort of like lightning in a bottle. So we need to ride this wave that's in the air, but we don't want to rush it, and we also don't want to procrastinate. So there's something though too, like an idea that we're communicating. Maybe you have like different media skills. Maybe that's part of your creative talent. And so maybe you're using words, right? Maybe you're writing, or maybe you're making like video content or something, but there's some way that you're utilizing the media to get your information or your desire or your message out there. The ideas are like, they might even be very prolifically like flowing through very, very quickly. But like I said, going back to the letting things develop and giving things space. If you recall yesterday's reading, we had like a couple of warnings, and it was kind of along the same lines. It's like you need to get started in something, you need to get something initiated, but you don't want to rush forward, right? Because that you could make a mistake, or, rush to sign a contract or something and not read the fine print. Or maybe you think, oh, this is the only opportunity that I'm going to have, so I'm going to rush and sign this contract with this person or individual or entity. And then maybe you find out that there's, undesirable aspects of it. Whereas maybe like right around the corner, there's another option that you don't know about yet. So I think just letting the situation breathe, letting the project breathe, and let it come naturally. The breath is also inspiration, right? It's breathing in that life force and that creative force of the creator. And we have the Ace of Swords here, which is all about a eureka, an idea or a revelation, and implementing a new sort of consciousness around something, new ideas, new outlook, right? And sometimes this is about like a start or a beginning of something, but that beginning might get off to a little bit of a shaky start. It might have a little turbulence, it might have a little bit of a delay. But either way, there's good, solid ideas here, very good ideas that we need to follow up on. But we need to be calculated and practical and slow and steady and consistent, and not rush through or be haphazard, but really let something breathe so that we can get the most of it, right? Think about when you had to write a paper in college. And you, like for me, I know I was really bad about it because I would cram in all the information. I wasn't a good student as far as like studying. Like I would just kind of like be able to intuitively make good grades, but I wasn't like good at like having good study habits and those things. So like if I were going to write a paper, I would like cram in all the information. And then while it was all in my head, I would be like looking out of the notes and then, try to like write out this paper, and like, it wouldn't have any perspective. It wouldn't have an angle. It wouldn't have a point of view. Like, yes, I would be accurate or correct, but I wasn't speaking thoughtfully on the topic because I wasn't giving it time to breathe. Whereas now, like that I'm an adult and I'm a mature person and I'm not studying because I have to, but because I love the subject matter. These are ideas that I think about, whether or not I'm reading about them or watching classes about them, but they're always sort of like, kind of like breathing and ruminating in my mind. And so the ideas around them like take on a life of their own, and they have room to evolve and grow and space to expand, right? And I think it's just when we can savor the idea and sit with it and not be in such a rush to get started or be in such a rush to like, oh, I want to get out a first draft, so that it's out. Sometimes that first draft, it's like you're putting your best ideas down. They like come out so naturally, and it's kind of harder to have that kind of spontaneous, organic story when you're going back at a second pass, right? So like this is like, I used to write screenplays, and really the magic is in that first draft. That's when all the ideas, the story's really coming out naturally and fluidly. And then when you go back in that second draft, and if anybody gives you notes and they decide to like, oh, you need to like change the structure here, move these things around, it's really, really cumbersome and really hard to do, to have to go back and unbuild things and rebuild them. So instead of rushing through to get this idea started and take your time with the work, right? Let it evolve, let it breathe. Hurry and get started, be prompt, don't drag your feet, don't procrastinate, but don't rush the work. Don't do it haphazardly or sloppily or thoughtlessly. And so the last set of cards here, we have the Raven's Head, which is sort of an invitation into the lab. This is like, think of this as like a messenger bird bringing you this pearl. And it's like, this is an invitation into another stage of doing the work. It's like a call to adventure, like for the hero's journey. Except this is a call to the alchemist to come into the lab for some transformative work, right? So it's like the beginning of a chapter of something that we're making, something that we're building, something special. And we are at the end of the old story is at its close, and we're beginning a whole new story, a whole new chapter, a whole new life. And guess what? Guess who's always at the next level waiting for us? Little devil. So when I saw these two cards together, it really reminded me of like, say, a Netflix series where one season ends on, like, say season 1 ends and it kind of like ends on a note where some of the story's tied up, but then you're like given a hint. It's like you end on a cliffhanger because you know the next season is going to start, but like who shows up at the very last second at the end of the first season? The antagonist. Next season. What's happening next season? They just introduced the antagonist in the last scene of the first season, right? So what's going to be waiting? What's going to be the challenge? Right? Whenever we up level to the next level, there's always the opponent always up levels with us. So that saying, new level, new devil, when you get a new promotion, there's going to be a new set of responsibilities, a new set of challenges. If you're an entrepreneur and you manufacture a product or you innovate things in any way at all, you will have constant new challenges and new problems. You're constantly, if you are an innovative person, jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. And that becomes something that you just accept. You are accepting of the fact that you're in the game of life and you have an opponent and an adversary, and you just know that opponent is just going to be there, relentless. And I think a lot of us, we start to interpret, like when we are up against challenges, sometimes we interpret that as like feeling disheartened, like our thing is cursed and it's not meant to be or whatever. But really anything that is worth a damn is going to be challenged. There's going to be opposition. Anytime you're revealing light, the opponent is going to come and challenge you. And it's not a commentary on whether the thing is going to work out or not, or whether it's worth doing or not. It's just the nature of the beast, no matter what. The opponent's going to be there. If you decide to give up, the opponent's going to be there. Like, quit hitting yourself. If you decide to persevere and go with it and go all the way, the opponent's going to be there in your face. So the less personally we take that, and the more that we understand that that's part of the game, there's going to be another team. Like, we're playing against the other team. They're going to try to block our goals, and they're going to try to get goals on us, right? So we just have to learn the rules of the game and become a better player, anticipating the moves of our adversary. So we're starting a new chapter. There's some amazing idea that we have that the world is ready for, and this can move swiftly, and there's a lot of inspiration and a lot of momentum and a lot of electricity up in the air. It's like we can capture lightning in a bottle right now, but we really want to be prompt. The other thing is that we know that the devil is going to try to get on us. And this new idea, this new project, this is going to be a vehicle through which we journey to self-discovery, right? This is going to be an experience that grows us in a lot of ways, that we grow with. So be mindful that the more light that is in something, the more special or precious or beautiful something has potential to be. The opponent is right there wanting to get a piece of that. So just expect that. We're at the beginning, an invitation into a new chapter of gifts and achievements and adventures and challenges, right? But who's always with us? The opponent. So expect the adversary. And our defense strategies against the adversary are, we're going to breathe and not rush into anything, not be reactive or in affect consciousness, but really to take our time in decision making and taking action and execution, thinking before we speak, pausing before we send the message, like dotting our I's and crossing our T's and all of those things, taking our time, but also being consistent and being steady, right? The Knight of Pentacles, he may not be the fastest knight in the deck, but he's going to get there. He's going to get there safe. He's probably going to get there on time, but he's not going to rush, right? So we're being consistent. We are moving forward, but we're not being haphazard or sloppy. We're taking our time. We're being intentional, right? We're making grounded, practical, pragmatic choices and decisions, and executing those in a way that we are divinely guided and inspired to do so. All right, that is all for tonight. Tomorrow I am going to be off and I'm going to be working on the first video and letter to send out in my Secret Teachings publication. So if you want to keep a lookout for that, if you guys are interested, I'm going to be launching that hopefully tomorrow. So I will let you know for sure, but just a heads up. So just in case you're interested, I'm doing a publication on Substack called Secret Teachings. And so there we will be doing like Bible study, Torah, Zohar study, Gnostics, lost books of the Bible, anything that's like on a deeper spiritual nature, that's not just part of these like spontaneous readings about what kind of like lessons we're going through in the moment. This is more like spiritual curriculum, where we will do ancient scripture studies, and we will study ancient wisdom, and also I will break down like specific spiritual concepts, whereas on this channel we talk about a lot of spiritual concepts and a lot of deep wisdom secrets, but they're sporadic and they're all over the place, whereas this publication will be more organized, more structured in that way. But it is called Secret Teachings. I would say hold off until I give you guys the go, or maybe if you're interested, like I'm getting this started, so there won't be anything archived yet, but it'll be $6 a month, and I'm planning on posting at least once or twice a week. And if the more I can grow this thing and the more it takes off, then that way the more I can make content for it and work a little less at the restaurant is what I'm hoping. So I have tons of stuff that I want to cover. I have tons of stuff that I want to create. So this is just the beginning. So I'm very excited. So I'm going to be working on that. The video is already in the can. I just have to put the letter together. And then I have another like 4 or 5 videos or so that kind of introduce some of the initial study material that I've been working on as well in preparation behind the scenes. So I'm very excited. That's going to be what I'm going to be working on the next couple of days, my days off. So excited. I'll keep you guys up to date. And that is, if you want to find my profile on Substack, here's the thing. Substack is a little bit confusing. So if you go follow my profile on Substack or Patreon, the Patreon, I still have a couple of, I think, details to finish in setting that up. But it's my public profile is Elizabeth Rose, or the Elizabeth Rose if I'm not Elizabeth Rose. And so on those, you will see everything that I post publicly all in one place, like the whole portfolio. But the paid publication is going to be called Secret Teachings, $6 a month, and that will be on Substack. You will see when you go to my public profile, it has like the publications listed at the top, like in the description. And so you will be looking for the Secret Teachings is the paid one, and that's where I'm going to be posting like the deep wisdom content on. And yes, and then I'm also going to go ahead and connect the 2026 prediction series to the paid Substack, so that will be available for you all of the material up until June. So we'll keep it month to month after that. So my goal is to get all that on to the paid platform and get the first official video launched and get that archived in an organized way. And I'm super excited. So I can't wait for y'all to see it and enjoy it. All right. That's all for tonight. Peace.